Good evening. Over on the BBC, they've been at it again. A shiny new programme called AI Decoded decided to dedicate a chunk of airtime to us here at the Crewkerne Gazette, describing our work as AI Slopaganda. That's right, not satire, not parody, not commentary, but Slopaganda, a word that sounds more suited to the cafeteria menu at Broadcasting House than to the kind of work we produce. Now, I don't usually respond to this sort of thing, but when Britain's state broadcaster starts painting two blokes from Somerset making funny videos as if we're some clandestine organisation threatening the very fabric of democracy, then perhaps it's time we set the record straight. This will not be our usual broadcasting output, but rather a new format or show, if you will. So join me over the next goodness knows how long for a thoroughly boring look at old Auntie Beeb. So, grab a bag of chicken dippers and a bottle of Blue Nun, and let's begin with This Week. Oh wait, that's a different show. Now, before we roll the tape, let me explain what the Crewkerne Gazette actually is. We are, and always have been, a satire and parody outlet. Nothing more, nothing less. We create comedy videos that lampoon the political class, turning the day's headlines into something the public can actually laugh at. We don't make things up. We don't invent stories. Every single video we produce begins with content already published in the news. If the BBC or the Guardian haven't said it, you won't find us saying it either. We're not here to further some hidden agenda. The only agenda we have is to make people laugh, to bring a bit of wit, a bit of parody and a bit of hysteria into a news cycle that's otherwise as dry as a week-old scone. Where the BBC gives you paragraphs and long formats, we give you satire quick, sharp and hysterical. And people seem to like it. In fact, we've had over 20 million views on our videos across platforms. That Angela Rayner hit? How many homes can Rayner buy? 4.5 million views on Facebook alone, over 10 million across the internet, front page of The Sun, and dare I say, it may even have contributed to her resignation. That's not Slopaganda, that's impact. Now, part of what we do involves music, because music is powerful, it's memorable, it sticks in people's heads in a way a policy document or a panel debate simply doesn't. And if Labour wants to lower the voting age, then it only makes sense that political content should be aimed at younger audiences in a style and sound they already love. That's what we do. We take the headlines, put them to a beat, and deliver politics in a way that isn't boring people to death. So when the BBC accuses us of being a mysterious group pumping out Slopaganda, perhaps what's really going on here is simple. We're drawing bigger crowds than some of their shows. Maybe they don't like being outpaced by two blokes from Somerset with a sense of humour. And here's the kicker. If they wanted to know what we think, they could have invited us on. They didn't. They chose to talk about us, not to us. Well, that's fine. We'll do it ourselves. Tonight, we'll play their segment, we'll stop it, and we'll respond point by point. Welcome to the Crewkerne Gazette response.
This from The Guardian. I don't know if you've been on X or on your social media this week, but The Guardian says be ready for the onslaught of AI Slopaganda. You may not be familiar unless you saw this AI created parody of the ousted Labour Deputy Leader Angela Rayner, a video of her or someone rapping and singing with a striking resemblance to her has been doing the rounds on social media. The paper says we all had concerns that deep fakes would disrupt our politics. Well, maybe it's satire like this.
Let me just stop there. Firstly, are we to genuinely believe that any one person in this country took the Angela Rayner video as real? I don't buy that. And we deliberately didn't go for a 100% likeness, and moreover, why would anybody release a rap music video about their own scandal? The other point to note is that what we're doing is not deep faking. That implies we are seeking to spread disinformation to cause division, which is not what we are doing. The Angela Rayner video was a piss take, and the lyrics were taken from real events that had been reported by the likes of BBC News and The Guardian.
Not difficult to make anymore with the kind of off-the-shelf AI tools available.
This is very disingenuous, because the reality is that not everybody could make a video like this simply using AI tools. We pride ourselves on quality and have built a bespoke system for production. This is not simply a case of typing in a prompt and hoping for the best. Our videos can take days to make, in a few cases weeks. We don't just use AI either. We use a degree of post-editing software and treat these films as if they are real productions.
But is everyone able to distinguish fake from reality? Interesting one, this. Have you all seen it?
Yeah, I think what I was struck by with the Angela Rayner video was the speed at which it arrived online. So from a purely aesthetic, from looking at the thing, some of the images of the person that they're trying to represent don't look quite like Angela Rayner. Some of them do. But the production values in the video, it looks and feels like a pop video, and somebody was able to create that really very, very quickly. Everyone knows that it is a parody. It's clearly parody. And for a long while, we've been considering, as that article in The Guardian points out, we thought that deepfakes and things of that nature were going to be a big issue as far as disinformation and things are concerned. But this particular clip, this is clearly parody. This is clearly somebody taking the mickey and doing it at great speed.
Great! This guy is absolutely correct, and in fact goes as far to compliment the speedy arrival of our video. There's absolutely nothing wrong here with what he is saying. Factually speaking, this is all good.
It's the new version of turning politicians into viral memes instead of sort of like this sort of serious policy actor. And we used to have Spitting Image back in the day, that I used to watch. But, we're really heading into this era where Mark's right? That's clearly parody. But audiences don't actually pause to question whether something's real. And we've seen lots of examples of that already. And as Mark's made the point, they're getting quicker and better at producing this. And it's sort of becoming accepted in a way that this is part of the information ecosystem. The problem with that, is that while that sort of imagery might seem really funny and it's harmless, you then have an image next to it which isn't. And so
I'm sorry, but what? An image next to it that isn't harmless? Where is this image? We only put out the one video, and there's no other content connected to it. What she is alluding to here is that we're trying to push an agenda, or dare I say it, far-right thugs using AI to promote hatred. That's totally not what we are doing. We took information from BBC News and Guardian articles and used them to comprise a comical song about the scandal which brought down Angela Rayner. There's no other motive.
My problem has always been with this, with social media platforms, is that when they algorithmically promote these sorts of pieces of content, and Mark talked to the virality of it, that they're making money from, and you're directly incentivizing the creators of AI Slopaganda, as they're calling it, by promoting and rewarding. So what happens when it is damaging? Or what happens when it is, harming someone's reputation? What happens when it's misinformation, disinformation, which spreads and creates harm? Now, platforms should be regulated for the content they promote, because if we look at the history of how information has spread in regulation, why is it when a social media platform's doing it at large, they are acting as an editor? They're not actually responsible when this actually crosses the line. It's not parody, as Mark quite rightly has pointed out about this piece, but actually it is incredibly harmful.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. Firstly, let's address what she said regarding the monetary incentive behind doing videos like this. I've got news for you. A video that gets 4.5 million views on Facebook doesn't pay an awful lot whatsoever. We don't do this for that reason. The Crewkerne Gazette is not a business, nor is it a company. We're just a couple of geezers having a laugh. Fundamentally, though, what this lady is calling for is regulations to be put into place to stop this kind of free expression or speech, NEHS, to disincentivize creators who do in fact seek to monetize their content. but most importantly to stop voices of opposition from being able to use AI to oppose governments. As the Americans would say, this is unconstitutional! Our song and music video, How Many Homes Can Rayner Buy? We should not be the focus of this conversation regarding harmful content. It's outrageous that there are even being comparisons drawn here.
Yeah, and if you need a clue as to just how viral this has become, Stephanie, it's in the top 40. I mean, he's climbing the charts. This is a group called Crewkerne. They've done things on Nigel Farage. They've done things on King Charles. They've done things on Keir Starmer. I mean, the Crewkerne Gazette are well known, but their product is getting that much more sophisticated.
Yes, we're highly sophisticated. Thanks for that, BBC. But you're wrong on a number of facts here regarding the song. This actually shows perfectly well how the BBC lie or poorly research things and then present them to you as fact. The presenter claims that the song is climbing up the charts in the UK top 40. Go and look at the charts. It's not. And if I am wrong, then let me know, because I'm pretty sure I am not. The song failed to chart, but with the total views and streams it received across the internet, 10 million in total, it should by rights be the UK's number one. But the charts don't work like that. The presenter also comically claims, this is a group called Crewkerne. We're not a group, and we're called the Crewkerne Gazette. The term group, though, implies something more perhaps, something sinister such as a jihadist group or far-right group. We're just a Facebook page with great people following us and sharing in the laughter. So what are we left with? A state broadcaster that dedicates a prime-time segment to warning the public about two fellas in Crewkerne making funny videos. Think about that for a moment. Not lobbyists, not corporate donors, not the unelected mandarins in Whitehall, no, us. And why? Because satire still cuts, because laughter still lands heavier than a lecture, and because when ordinary people are able to poke fun at those in power, the establishment begins to twitch. But here's the bigger picture. The BBC's language isn't accidental. Words like slopaganda, disinformation, harmful content. What do those words prepare the ground for? Regulation, policing, control. By branding what we do as a threat, they create the justification to clamp down on it. Yet if parody, satire and comedy are suddenly redefined as disinformation, then what exactly is left of free speech? If a joke about a politician's hypocrisy is treated with the same suspicion as a foreign intelligence operation, then what chance do ordinary people have of speaking truth to power? This is bigger than the Crewkerne Gazette. This is about whether we as a nation still believe in the right to ridicule our leaders, to question authority, to laugh at the pomp and the spin. Because once that goes, once satire is classed as subversion, you don't have democracy, you have obedience. So yes, they can keep sneering, keep clutching at phrases like AI Slopaganda, and keep pretending that a couple of parody videos are some great existential threat. But the truth is simpler. We make people laugh, we hold a mirror up to politics, and the real question the BBC should be asking is this: why are they so afraid of the reflection?